Okay, so today in my Roblox Monopoly tutorial, I am going to buy properties if they're not owned, and I'm going to pay rent if they are owned. So if you haven't been following along, I'll put this link in the description. It's a playlist. So we're going to start from the end of this video right here, the end of video 10. And if you didn't get them working or you don't feel like doing those, I'm going to put this link in the description. And this is end of video 10. So hit these three dots, hit edit, and you will get this exact world right here. And you can follow along. So I'm going to start out with my starter GUI, right? So I have my starter GUI, and in there I made this query player frame. Let's go ahead and make it visible. And basically that reports something to the character. This is for, or the player, this is for community, chess, or chance. I only have it for those two. I'm going to use it for other things though. But I want one for if I land on a property, can I buy it, or do I want to pass? Like, do I have not enough money or something? So let's make this invisible. And I'm going to click on that, right click. I'm going to duplicate, and I'm just going to use, I'm going to use that first one as a template. In fact, I only have to do a little bit of modification. I'm only going to change this button to make it smaller, move it to the left, and then duplicate the button. But I'm going to change this because it's going to be confusing if it has the same name. I'm going to call this buy lot frame. There we go. And then in here, I don't want the query player to be the same name either. So I'll just say like buy lot. So my close button, basically I hit the OK button. It closes, it signals the server side to continue with the game. Let's make this a little smaller and move it to the left. So what I'll do, let's rename it right away. Say buy button. There we go. Position, let me move it over to the left a little bit. I have it at 0.2 on the X for the scale. That's the very first X number. I'll make it 0.05. There we go, that moves it over a bit. Let's change the size a little bit. I'll make it 0.4 on the X. So 0.4 and 0 on the X, 0 pixel offset. So that moves it over. That's pretty good. Let's see, text, let's make that buy. And I think we're good with that. Let's duplicate it. So I'm going to hit a Control D. I'm already selected that button. You can't see it because it duplicated right on top. But let's go ahead and change this to pass button. All right, so I'm going to change the color a little bit. Let's see, I'll make it pink. I don't want it to be a color of one of the tiles because I'm actually going to make the window the tile color, so it gives you a little more visual cue of what you're getting. Let's go ahead and change the name, the text being displayed. There we go. Instead of buy, we're going to say pass. Let's move it over. And I move everything with numbers. You guys might just want to drag it. I got to go up. Position. Instead of 0.05 on the X, I'm going to make it 0.55 on the X. That pushes it over. And I think we're good. Yeah, that looks good. So we can buy or pass. Let's go to the query or the buy lot local script. All right. Let's make that a little bigger. And I'll get rid of this so we can see more. My roll result is what asks the question. So you get a roll result, and then it would pop up the question window. I'm going to make it a different remote event. I'm going to call this lot open RE, right? And let's make a lot open RE over here. Replicated storage, remote event. I'm going to call that, I'm doing Control V because I copied it. It's got to be spelled the same. Lot open RE, lot open RE. And then let's go ahead and change the variable, but I'll make this a lowercase l. I do that with my variables as convention. Well, as my convention. I'm going to hit Control C here, and then I'm going to update this roll result to lot open RE. Now, when that fires on the server side, we haven't set that up yet. It's going to ask the question. Question's perfect. It's going to change the color of the window, and it's going to set the text to my message. However, now we have two different buttons. Instead of a close button, we have a pass button, right? And that'll be a pass button. And then we're going to have a buy button. Let's put that on top. We'll put the positive thing on top. Buy button, frame, buy button, there it is. And it's complaining. Should we make this one, let's make this one buy. Control C, and then this is going to be buy. That's going to be the function name, which we don't have. So let's go ahead and change this close function to buy function. Cool. Now here, player response is fine, right? We can say, we can use the player response RE. We're going to go to our board utils anyway, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and put buy here. That'll give us instructions. So we need a pass one. Control C. Boom. Pass. Cool beans. Let's make this pass. Nice. And then I need to capture the click event. So I'll say pass button. Oops. Activated. Connect. Pass. Cool. So that's fine the way it is. We can't test that yet. I make it invisible just in case I forget to turn it off in here. But let's go ahead and make it invisible here too. So we get it out of the way. There we go. Visible. Boom. Good to go. All right. So now let's go over to our board utils. It's going to be in the workspace, board game, board utils. All right. Cool. This is going to be a big script. So we have our roll result. That's for community, chess, and chance. Let's go ahead and do our lot, what I call it, lot open RE. Open RE, replicated storage, wait for child, lot open RE. Just make sure it's spelled the same as right here. Nice. All right, and then also player answered is going to get set when we hit the button. But we're going to capture that buy or pass that we sent. So we'll say buy or pass. I'll initialize that to nil. There we go. So that's good for up here. Let's take a look at our big array, this board map. Let's not forget this board map. So we have our property tile in here. That's the physical tile. We have the title, we have the price, we have the owner, and we have the rent. We have some other stuff here, but these are the things we're going to work on right now. All right, so just keep those in mind. I'm going to do a Control F and search for, oh, there it is, land on tile action. So I go land on tile action. So there's two occurrences. This is the definition. This is what happens when we land on the tile, like community chess or chance. Right? It checks the tile type, not the individual tile. Let me do a forward slash, or what do you call it, an arrow here. This is where we call that. We call that in move piece. So the one thing I need to change here in this land on tile action is I'm passing in the property tile itself, but I think I want to pass in the entire board map element for the position that we landed on, which will be the destination tile number, right? So that's destination tile number. I'm going to pass this whole thing in because I need rent, owner, price, things like that, title, not just the tile. All right, that looks good. Let's go ahead, double click on or land on tile action, right click, go to declaration. There we go, we're at the declaration. So this is no longer a property. This is an array element. I'm going to call it ELE for element. And now I'll just do ELE dot property. No, it's not going to work. ELE dot prop. That's what we called it. And ELE, dot prop. I don't think we used it anywhere else. Cool. So this is getting our prop type right here. Let's just make sure that that's what it is. Prop. Yeah. ELE prop. Cool. And that's the actual tile itself. And then we have that prop type on the tile. If you look here under tiles, we have prop type. And when I was doing community chess and chance, Some of the tiles did not have prop type, so I was checking to make sure. So we can delete that. Right, we can delete that check. You can leave it there if you want. It's not going to hurt anything, but we don't need it now. It'll fail earlier on when we populate our decals on our properties. We did that in the last video. So we have community chest, we have chance. Now we have another option. We have prop type value equals lot, right? And if we land on a lot, there's three things can happen. It could be nobody owns it, you could own it, or someone else can own it. So let's go ahead and take care of those three things. I'll say we want an owner, ELE owner equals nil. All right, that means nobody owns it. That's the most favorable situation. And then let's do another one, else if we own it. Owner equals the player that landed on it. Here we're just going to return a 0. Oh, ELE owner, I'm sorry. ELE owner. And then the last thing that can happen, we'll just do a regular else, is if someone else owns it. Boo. Should put a note here. Someone else owns it. So we'll pay. Let's work on this one first. So we want to be able to buy it. So I'm going to get my lot open, RE. I'll fire to the client. I want that window to pop up that we worked on. We've got to put the player there so we know that who to send the window to. We'll give a message. Do you want to buy? Is there there's two spaces here? Nope. Do you want to buy string concatenator dot and ELE title? So our board map element has a title on it. Dot. Ooh. What do you call it? Speech quotes. For. Put a space here so it doesn't get crammed together. $sign. Let's go to the next line. Dot. ELE price. And we'll bring that close parenthesis back. We'll do a comma, and then we're going to send a color in too, right? So we have ELE prop color. All right. So that will send a message to our user. Oh, I got rid of that. There we go. There's a parenthesis. Let's go to the other side of that parenthesis. Hit enter. Let's do a wait for the response. Control C. There we go. And now this is fired when the roll result comes back, right? The player response comes back. But we also want to check if buy or pass equals buy then. See, we don't need to check the pass because what we'll do is make a local variable right here, change money, make that 0, and then this needs to be in quotes. Oh, and what we called it, we're going to call it buy with a capital. There we go. And let's see, we have element owner will be assigned the player because we're buying it, and then we'll subtract out the money. So change money will equal ELE price. So we have all this stuff on our tiles, right? In the board map element, we call it ELE element for the board map. Cool. And then what we can do is we can just return the change money value. However, this does not have a value yet. We have to set that. So let's go down to where this was found. It's all the way down at the bottom. Right here, player response. And then we set our player answer to true. The function coming back, I missed this before. You need to put a player in here so you know who sent it. And then the message, well, that'll be buy or pass. Right? So I'll say, if MSG equals buy, then we have our buy or pass variable, buy, and you have to do an else if here because we're going to use player response for a lot of different things. So we'll say message equals pass. Then we'll say buy or pass equals pass. Nice. All right, so now this is set. So we can go search for this. Let's find that again. There we go. So we're good here. We should successfully be able to buy property if we own it, or if we land on it and no one owns it. Let's go ahead and do the rent part if somebody else owns it. If we own it, we do nothing. We're just going to return 0. So here we're going to go ahead and pay some rent. So this is the unfortunate situation. We'll use the roll result RE because we don't have to do a buy or pass. We're just informing the player he's got to pay money. So I'll say fire client, player, we'll say owner, oh, ELE owner, right? ELE owner, was that lowercase? Yeah, that's lowercase. Owner dot name owns dot title dot and then we'll use a speech quote. It gave me 2 dot pay. So this is at the end of the period. Oh, I forgot the ELE here. This is an element. We're using that element array. Let's go to the next line. Let's do that here. All right, so we're going to say such and such owns, it's going to be the name, like St. Charles Place, period, pay. The string concatenation stuff's tricky. ELE rent, right? So the element has all of that stuff on there. It's in the board map. It's an element of the board map. And then we'll do ELE prop dot color. Might have some errors here. We're doing a lot of code. And it's getting a little trickier than it was in the first 10 videos, right? It's getting big. We're getting hundreds of lines of code. So we're going to wait for the response. And now it doesn't really matter what the other guy wanted to do. He's got to pay the money. So we'll say local change money. Oh, yeah, there we go. Change money equals negative ELE rent, right? Because we're going to subtract it from the guy paying, and then we're going to return change money, and we need the person to pay. So we'll say ELE owner. Cool beans. Now this should work. All right, we're pretty good here. Let's go ahead and, oh wait, we have to add the person to pay. We haven't taken account for that. Let's go to where we call our land on tile action. This is where we land on tile action. This is where we call it. It's in the move piece. I'm going to do a comma, player to pay, right? And then I'm going to do a comma, and I'm going to pass this all the way back to the game manager to start subtracting money. So player to pay. Cool. So now I have to go back to the game manager. Let's see here. These are properties. Where's my game manager? It is in server script service, game manager. And we have this take turn, right? Take turn. Oh, here we go. And this is our move piece. Move piece calls land on tile action. Right here, we're going to do player to pay. Cool. Oh, let me go ahead and make a variable for that. Local player to pay, and I'll make that nil. Now we won't get a blue line. Cool, that's all we needed to do there. Oh, look at this. So session data, we're going to update the money with the change money, right? So we're taking the old value of the money and adding change money. Roblox did an update where we don't have to do that. We can do something a little shorter. We can do this plus equals operator. That way, when you put something on the right side of that plus equals, it just adds money to the current value, right? It's not a pure assignment. It's an add and assign. That's kind of handy. That like speeds things up a little bit. So we got that one. Oh, and we have to check to see if pair to play actually has a value. Because remember, if we landed on it and we owned it, nothing got sent back for pair to play. Same with if we bought the property, we don't have anybody to pay. The bank gets that money, which essentially is not keeping track of. So I'm going to say if pair to player to pay does not equal nil. So if it exists, then let's get our session data. And I'll say pair to player to pay. I'll do money. And here what we're going to do is we're going to do a plus equals. Where's my plus? Plus equals the negative amount of change money. So we're doing a negative of a negative because we're changing the money. We're adding it to the pair to play. Pair, yeah, oh my God, player to pay. And then we have to update the leaderboard for them too. Player to pay. Cool. And yep, we got it here. That should work. Let's make sure that that's negative. Back in board utils. Let's go up here. Here's our lot. Yes, the negative rent. That's good. All right, this should work. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my test server, and I'm going to have 2 players. I'm going to give it a test. Let's see. In order to make sure that we land on tiles to buy, let's hard code in our roll value to 3, and that'll have us land on Baltic. And that way we can check to make sure that we can buy it rather than like getting like 5 railroads or something, and then we're not ready for that anyway. All right, so here's our guy. My screen's flickering a little bit. And we'll go ahead and, who is this? Is this player 2? Let's roll. We should land on Baltic Avenue. Boom. Do you want to buy Baltic Avenue for $60? So we're this guy right here. It should go down to what? 14. Or, oh, it got added. That's no good. Let's go ahead and fix that real quick. I'm going to just turn all this off. All right, so I went over to board utils, and under land on tile action for the lot, when I buy it, I actually want to send back the negative price value for money, for change money, right? Because we bought it. We didn't gain that money. Let's go ahead and try this again. All right, so our intermission. Boom. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll. And we should go to Baltic because we hard-coded that value in. 60. Cool beans. Do you want to buy Baltic Avenue for 60? I'm going to buy it. Ah, nice. So it subtracted 60 from our value. Now he's going to land on Baltic. Our player 1's going to land, or player 2's going to land on Baltic. Boom. Player 1 owes... Oh yeah, that is player 1. Player 1 owns Baltic Avenue, pay $4. So I'm going to lose $4 here. So it'll be $14.96. And then we should have $14.44 here. Nice. All right, looking good. Let's try one more. So it's going to land on Oriental because we hard coded a 3 in there. All right. Do you want to buy Oriental Avenue for $100? Buy. All right. So that should have subtracted 100. Awesome. It did. Let's go try this one. And boom. Player 1 owns Oriental Avenue, pays $6. All righty. So we already will assume this is going to work. This should be subtracted for 1490, and then this one should increase to 1350. Ah, nice. So it looks like it's working. That's cool. So now we have people owning property and other people having to pay rent when somebody already owns it. Cool bean. So I will see you in the next video, and we'll just keep building from there. I might have to do a little bit of refactoring, a little bit more gameplay, maybe some more feedback from what's happening with other users.